Welcome, everyone, to episode 1 of Hear the Beat, a podcast for and about Beat Children's Theater. And today I am here with Beat's Executive Director, Bree Beal, also known as Boss Lady. And we're here to kick off this podcast and give you a little taste of what Beat is about and talk about what we're talking about for this season and a little bit of looking back, a little bit of looking forward. So, Bree, Boss Lady.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Why Beat?
Well, we are very excited because on September 1st, we are kicking off our 18th season for Beat.
Wow.
18 years here in Central Oregon, which, doing a little bit of simple math, means that in 2 years, we are kicking off our 20th season.
That's amazing.
And we're very excited to get to our 20th season, partly because we're just going to have so much to celebrate and we're growing so much, but also because this time between now and then gives us a chance to think about questions like, why Beat? And why has Beat been here and done so well for the last 17 years? And why are we looking at growing and how are we growing? I think the most immediate answer to the question of why Beat is because all of our amazing young artists keep showing up and wanting to do stuff. And the numbers are growing and the wait lists are growing. And so there's a lot of appetite and enthusiasm for performing arts and for the programs that we have.
Hi, I'm Adam, and one thing I am proud of accomplishing last season with Beat was Anastasia. It was a very fun musical to do, and I met a ton of fun people there.
Hello, my name is Marley Meadow, and this is going to be my 3rd show with Beat. One thing I'm very proud of accomplishing in this last season with Beat of the musical Anastasia is singing on stage for the first time. It was a whole new, fun, and intriguing experience.
Wow, what you just described to me makes me think that Beat is kind of teetering on the cusp of something. Do you get that
I think so.
sense?
Yeah, we've felt it for the last year or so. I think, like everyone, we had a lot of ups and downs going in and out of COVID and trying to figure out how to survive that time period. And then what are the performing arts and children's education going to look like coming out of that? And what we've experienced is that going into the COVID time, we had a pretty steady increase in demand for programs, and coming out of it, its demand has really gone through the roof. And I think a lot of that has to do with people understanding that young people need reasons to re-engage. They need fun and joyful ways to reconnect with their peers. They need to be able to kind of catch up on a lot of the stuff that they missed out on during COVID. And so that's wonderful. We weren't really sure what demand was going to look like, but it turns out there's a lot. So we are looking at, hopefully over the next couple of years, really growing the organization so that we can step up and meet more of that demand, have shorter wait lists on everything.
That's amazing. Yeah, so with 17 years of experience under your belt, your collective belts, it seems as though there's just a really solid foundation to build something really huge, stupendous on, and that would reach just so many more kids than you're able to right now with the programs you've got. You know, we're sitting here in, I don't know how big this space is, but, you know, you can only do so much with this space and the amount of time in the day and all of that. And I'm not quite sure where a question is coming out of that, but
no, you're right. There's a sense that we need to expand our infrastructure, our reach, our space, like all of the things that make Beat, we want to grow. And I think I've been with Beat almost 10 years, and in that time, what I've really felt is the programs that were so successful at Beat when I arrived, and the quality of experience, not just the product, but the experience, was already high. And so we've been able to maintain that. And then we've been able to really, in the last 5 to 6 years, take that outside the walls of Beat too, so that a lot of our expansion has been through programs that we do in schools during the school day with our community partners, doing a lot of community outreach where we actually get outside of Bend. We go to Redmond, Culver, Madras, Warm Springs, Lapine, all over Central Oregon, so that we can take a lot of these theater programs out and make them available to students who might not be able to come to our space. And when we don't have enough room in our space for all the students that want to do theater, we got to go out to where all these other kids are. So expanding in all of these different ways, which is certainly a challenge and takes a lot of focused conversation and hard decision making and prioritizing to make it successful.
Right. And there's so many businesses right now that have trouble hiring people. So I'm assuming that you're running into some of the same issues with, as you want to expand, how do you expand your staff as well, or your complement of teachers or things like that?
Yeah, we're always looking for more people to work with these students. And it's a little bit of a challenge too, because we're not a proper theater company. We're really education based. And so we're looking for teaching artists more than theater artists, but finding people who have a passion for both and an excellence in both and who love working with young people. That's a very special combination of qualities.
So talking about standing or teetering on that cusp of moving forward into some big things, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What do you see looking back?
When I came on almost 10 years ago, Beat already had a really successful set of programs and a great reputation when it came to putting on productions and particularly summer camps and classes, things that were happening under Beat's own roof. We've expanded a lot of that, but a lot of our expansion has also been outside of our Beat walls. What we've seen particularly over this last year is that in all the areas of our programming, our plays, our in-house camps and classes, our in-school programs, and our community outreach programs, we can't keep up with demand in all of those areas. We're still kind of pulling out of the COVID scaling back that we had to do. So we had 2 really successful musical productions this year, but normally we do 3 or 4. So we're hopefully going to do 3 or 4 this year. But we had a huge summer full of camps and classes that we did here in Bend, that we did in Madras and Warm Springs, that we did all over Central Oregon. And we had a whole bunch of really fun classes this year. But every single program that we have that we open up over enrolls. So that's just going to be our guiding motivation kind of going into this next season.
How do you accommodate more?
Without packing more kids into the programs we already have.
Right.
Yeah.
Without overwhelming either the facilities or the people that you have. Yeah,
We want each student to come in and have their own unique individual experience and to walk out feeling excited and proud, not overlooked and crammed in.
Yes. So looking forward, what's the crystal ball for this coming season, and then also maybe a little farther down the road?
Yeah. This next season, we're super excited about already. We have our fall show that actually we have our audition workshop for tonight, which is going to be the best Christmas pageant ever, directed by Amy James, and we're so excited. We've got a fantastic cast. Again, we had a cast of 25 for this, and we have 25 amazing kids in the cast and 25 amazing kids on the wait list. So we could almost do 2 casts if we had the space and the people, but we're grateful to have what we have for our cast. We already have lined up a winter show and a spring show that will both be musicals.
Wow.
One will be a junior musical, and one will most likely be a full musical. We're still working out the details on that. A lot of what we're focusing on with our productions this year is really kind of thinking about which stories are important to children, stories that children are at the center of, rather than sometimes it's so much fun when you're a young person to tell a story about grown-ups and to play grown-ups, which is great. But we are a children's theater, and so we want to make sure we're telling stories that are really relevant and that resonate for kids. That's who normally fills up our audience. So we're doing shows, and I can't say any of the other shows because we don't have our licenses yet, but that's what we're working on. And then coming out of the summer, we had so many young people who just kept saying, well, what's next? What's next? What can I do next? So we're starting to line up some more classes and some more workshops for kids who aren't able to get into a production. We're also already starting to line up workshops and classes that we're going to take into all of our Central Oregon schools. Not all of our schools, but
Right.
schools all over Central Oregon.
Right.
Where we can go do curriculum integration projects. We can go do bilingual theater workshops. We can go do little mini performance workshops, little short artist in residence programs, so that, again, kids who might not otherwise have exposure or access to performing arts programming can get some of it this way. And then we are working with some of our community outreach partners to bring some more programs to kids in our community through existing programs that already serve a population of kids, and they're looking for ways to bring them fun and enriching programming. So those are all the things that we have coming up this next season. And as we look a little bit further down the road and heading into our 20th season, the goal is to be able to provide more of all of those things when we have more teachers, and to find another space that will allow us to do more programming with our kids that gives us a little bit more. So we love our space and we're so grateful to have it, but it does, we can do one thing at a time in the space, and we need something that will allow us to do either two things at a time or have a little bit bigger space or something. I'm not sure what that will be, but something that will give us a greater opportunity to provide more programs.
Anything you want to throw in?
The other thing that we really want to do this season, and I think it's a big part of the reason why we're doing this podcast, is that a lot of people know Beat for its plays. They've come and
Right.
seen a Beat play, but they don't really realize that Beat is not a production company. Beat is a children's nonprofit organization, and our mission isn't to put on plays. Our mission is to empower young people through theater arts and to help create a higher quality of life and culture in our community through the theater work that we do with young people, to tell kids stories with kids. And there's such a wide variety of young people in our community, and we want to be able to tell all of their stories with them. So through the podcast and through a lot of our efforts the next couple of years, as we slide into that 20-year mark, we really want our community to know and understand the big picture of what Beat does, not just our plays, but that there are really these other strong arms of what we do, and that through those other programs is really where we reach most of our young people that we work with. So we really want to spend some time talking about why we do this. Why do we fight so hard every day to reach all these kids? What is the value of theater? And what are we seeing as the impact of these programs throughout our community?
I know there was a great series of articles in the paper recently where some of the interviews were astounding in what the kids said. I mean, so poised, so articulate, and sort of centered. And those are obviously some qualities that I know Beat pulls out of kids, is just bringing that self-awareness and comfortableness. And so that is truly an important mission that Beat has for our community in terms of bringing out the best in our kids. And I know that some of those kids also have helped out as assistant teachers on classes. And so from my perspective, giving kids that opportunity to help in a more adulting kind of position is really important and really a growth opportunity as well.
Yeah, when our students who've been with us as young artists for a long time become teenagers, they're really ready to be young adults and to give back to the younger kids who are entering into the program.
Sort of mentoring
them, and just there is no way that I can ever compete with the coolness of an older student. When we get into class, the young students would much rather work with our teen students than with me. So they're also inspiring. They give these younger students a vision of, gosh, maybe someday I could help teach, or I could help direct, or I could help on costumes or whatever, like the big kids. And they're just fun. They bring a level of fun, and they're lovely, lovely people to work with in these programs.
Right, and so many of those qualities obviously come from their families, but also
Yeah.
by how they're supported in the activities that they take part in, and so having programs like Beats, educational programs and the performance programs, just builds, what I've seen is just builds really strong, caring and articulate and intelligence, and emotional intelligence and just intelligence,
Yeah.
in our kids. And it's been really heartening to see that develop.
Yeah. I think I always come back to the notion that all young people want to do well. They all do. But we have to help provide them the space in which to do that, the support with which to do that. They want to challenge themselves. They want to step outside their comfort zone, but they need a safe place and they need guidance and sometimes a little help getting over those high bars, but they'll do it. They'll step up and they'll do it and they'll surprise themselves. And one of the best things about theater is you challenge yourself, you do the scary thing, you do the hard thing, you go home and you practice and you work hard and you come out and you give everything you've got, and then everyone cheers. And what a great validating reinforcement of the courage that you're showing and the growth that you're doing. I think that's one of the best things about theater is you get to do all of these amazing challenges and put yourself in a position you've never been in before, and then hear everyone cheer and applaud for your efforts. So it's really, I think it's a magical part of theater.
So if you had to pick out one thing that you're really proud of from this last year, what would that be?
Oh gosh, one thing. I think when I look at this last season, I'm proud of geographically how much our programs have expanded in terms of their reach. We've worked really hard to reach a lot of kids that are within a quick drive of the studio, and this last year, we really tried hard to drive further and to get out to students that definitely have the geographical challenge of being able to come in and have the advantage of doing programs with Beat. Some of it was through schools and some of it was through other partner programs, but we really want to include all Central Oregon young people in the opportunities for theater. They may not all love it, but we want to give them the chance to try it and to introduce them to it and to give them those same growth opportunities and those same applause and all of those things. So I think the fact that I can look at just on the map of Central Oregon where we did our programs and we reached farther out than we ever have before this season, and that was really exciting.
Cool. So is there one special thing that you're wishing for Beat in the future?
There's so many things I'm wishing for Beat in the future.
I know, how can you choose?
Yeah. But I think in the immediate and more long-term future, I want us to have shorter wait lists, maybe no wait lists. I want all the kids that come to the door or that are calling us from all over Central Oregon, I want them all to be able to come and do programs. It's very hard when they come out of a summer camp or a school program and they're just lit on fire, and this is their thing and this is their tribe and these are their people, and they can't get in the door.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking, and I don't want that anymore. So my greatest wish is that over the next couple of years, we are able to find the support, the community support, and the answers that we need to be able to have room for every kid that comes and knocks on our door.
One thing I am looking forward to next season with Beat is doing more plays, having more fun, and making more awesome friends.
In this next season with Beat, I'm very excited about performing on stage again, dress rehearsal, and practicing for this play, the best Christmas pageant ever.
Well, thank you so much, Bree.
Thank you, Barb. I'm excited to do one of these every month and to see what kind of conversations come out about why is Beat here in our community and why is it valuable, not just to the kids in our programs or their families, but to our whole community.
Right. And I know that we want to have conversations with students.
Absolutely.
And teachers and,
Community members, and
to get the perspective and the word out about the amazing things that are going on here.
yes, indeed.
Thanks so much.